Hey, what's up everybody? Social Reefer here and welcome to my YouTube channel. So before I jump into today's topic, I just want to let you guys that are tuning in know that I am doing a red glitter Goni giveaway. One of these two frags that you see on your screen right here. I'm going to be doing a giveaway for them. If you go to my Instagram page, I pinned a post to the top of my page. That way you don't have to scroll for it. And if you read the description, it'll give you all the details on how to join the giveaway. It's completely free. I'm going to be paying the shipping cost to the one lucky winner, and this is a really good pickup. My Instagram page, once again, as you guys know, is social_reefer, and you have a chance to win one of these beauties. Now, you know a lot of people ain't giving these away. It's a pretty rare coral, and it's a money maker, and people don't want to just give them away, you know. So go ahead and check it out and see if you guys can have an opportunity to win a frag. Let me get the orange filter here so you guys can check it out. As you can see, very beautiful. And one lucky winner is gonna get a grabs on one of these. So you guys already know. Now, before I jump in, I wanna give a thank you to everybody that subscribes to my channel, the people that give me feedbacks and give me those thumbs up. I appreciate you guys to the fullest. As you already know, I am very, very thankful, and your feedback is what keeps me going. That's why I do this. You know, the little bit of knowledge that I learn as I go, I just try to pass it down to you guys in my journey. So without further ado, I'm gonna just jump right into it. In the last video that I did, it was brought to my attention that I could have been a little misleading with my comments when I was giving advice to new reefers coming into the hobby. And I just wanted to clarify on that, because the person that brought that to my attention was 100% right. And as you guys know, everything that I say during these videos, I always mention that it's not scripted. I'm just conversing, and I'm talking to you guys as I go. None of this is planned. So I can see how I could be misleading, because I'll be talking about one thing 1 second and jump to another topic in the next sentence, and it might throw people off. Particularly when I was talking about the parameters in my tank, you know, my current system that you see in front of you right now, the nitrates are at around 25 ppm, and the phosphates are between 0.10 to 0.20. You know, those parameters, even for my tank, I want to say, in my opinion, because everything is opinion based, I think that they're pretty decent to have a sustainable reef at home. Now, if you're comparing it to how other reefers do it, then no, it's not good numbers, but it is sustainable. And there's a lot of very experienced hobbyists that will argue that it is, but others will say no, you know. But especially for new reefers coming into the hobby, it's definitely not, you know. So I just want to make that clear. The numbers in my current system, if you're new coming into the hobby, those are terrible numbers, and it's a recipe for disaster. Do not, please, allow your parameters to get to those levels when you're first getting into the hobby and starting up a new system, because you're gonna regret it. All the nuisance algae will come your way like a ton of bricks, and you will have to just tear up the whole system and restart from scratch again. You know, when you're first in the hobby, I always say that you have to be very consistent with your water changes, and you have to stay on top of your testing regularly and take down your notes, learn your system. Those things are very, very vital, especially in the beginning, in order for you to be successful. Now, if I had to give you a concept, or before I even get to that concept, if you're getting into the hobby and you search up, like, you want to learn how to do reefing, one of the first videos that you will run into, it's people teaching you what the nitrogen cycle is. Now, I'm not gonna get into that in this video. You know, you can look up one of those other videos if you really want to know the details, but they're all gonna sound like a broken record. And honestly, what they're saying is true. You know, you need to know the concept of the nitrogen cycle. That way, you can know how important it is in order to cycle your tank before you put any living things in it. Now, what is the nitrogen cycle? I'll tell you in this briefest, simplest way that I can say it right now is the nitrogen cycle is basically a process that you put your tank through in its early stages that will allow it to develop the beneficial bacteria that is going to help you get rid of any organic waste in your tank. So whenever your fish take a pee or they pooping in the tank, you need to have bacteria in the tank that is going to allow you to dispose of that in an organic way, basically, that where it doesn't become harmful to your fish. Because if you don't have that bacteria in your tank, all of that waste turns into ammonia, and ammonia will kill everything that you put in your tank. So you cannot have a sustainable system without putting your system through the nitrogen cycle and allowing your tank to develop good bacteria. That's basically what it is. You know, if you want to know it step by step, just look up the nitrogen cycle and have somebody else talk to you about that. Because I already been through it, and honestly, I don't want to describe it. But yeah, that's the fastest and simplest way that I can describe it. Now, what did I do to get to where I'm at today? I will tell you, I was very, very consistent in the beginning. And I documented everything that I did, and I tested regularly. You know, look at this rock that I'm pointing the camera at right now. And picture this rock bare, you know, no corals on it. And as a matter of fact, when I put it in the tank, this was a white rock. It was just regular, you know, nothing on it. It wasn't live rock. It was just some regular dry rock. It had nothing on it. So I had to develop the beneficial bacteria that would allow my tank to thrive in this rock. All of that bacteria lives within your rock, in the crevices. So if you look at this rock, every single inch, every single centimeter on every piece of rock that you put inside your system, that's all real estate that bacteria lives in, and you know, any other living thing lives in, you know, that you allow it to. But you have to create an environment that's going to allow the things that you want to live on that rock. You don't want green hair algae growing on your rock, right? Well, if you want to avoid it, the best chance that you give yourself to avoid green hair algae from growing on your rock is by maintaining stable, low parameters of nitrates and phosphates. And you do that with weekly maintenance, water changes, and weekly testing. And you stay under certain levels. Definitely not my current levels of 25 ppm nitrates, 0.10 to 0.20 phosphates. If you do that, that's a recipe for disaster. Now, I don't know if I said that already, but I will say it as many times as I have to. Do not do that. Do not allow your tank to get to those levels if you're starting up a new tank. You know, do your homework, follow through, be consistent, and it will pay off in the long run. Now, when I started, I didn't even have my lights on for months. I allowed my tank to run without lights for months before I even allowed light to turn on, because I wanted that bacteria to thrive and spread throughout my entire system. You know, and I documented everything. I wrote down notes. I wrote down my parameters every day when I tested. And I learned, you know, the intake and the outtake of my tank. You know, how fast does it take to get to certain levels. I actually kind of prepped for this video because I knew I was going to be talking about this. So I'll show you guys here. This little book that you see in front of you right now, this is when I first started cycling my tank. Now, when I first started cycling my tank, look, you can see day 1, ammonia added. Day 2, pH, NH3, NO2, KH. Day 3, day 4, day 5, every single day, I was taking these notes, you know, and you can even see this is December 10th. So I was taking this every single day, day 20, you see? it's every single day. I was just taking down these notes. I decided to cycle my tank the good old fashioned way. I didn't want to rush nothing because I didn't want to mess up. I love this hobby dearly, and I just didn't want to mess up like everybody else. So I took my time. Look, this was a 38-day cycle. Yeah, so basically that's what I did. Before I added anything to my tank, I allowed my tank to cycle properly. You know, I did my homework. I took my time. Before I put anything into my tank, I was very cautious. You know, some people are daredevils and they still end up figuring it out as they go, but I'm not, because I invested a lot and I didn't want to lose. You know, and another piece of advice, as you guys saw here, this is my offer reef. This is what I dose in my tank. As you can see here, I have the offer reef that's connected here into my system. And this is the offer reef. I didn't have a clue what the hell to do with this thing when I first got it. But when I figured it out, guess what? I bought one of those little printers and I put down the exact amount that I needed to dose per milliliters in my tank. That way, whenever I had to mix some new offer reef, I didn't have to look at the instructions anymore. I have it right here. So, you know, do your homework, follow through, be consistent, especially in the beginning. And I'm talking about for at least a year's time or more. You have to do your water changes religiously. You have to test religiously, because you want to learn your system. You want to know what the intakes is. You want to know the fluctuations in your tank. You want to know how much you need to dose in order to maintain it at a stable level. And that does require some work on your end, because every system is different and the intake on every system varies. So you have to learn your system, number one, and stay on top of things. Eventually, as your system matures, you're gonna notice that everything will stabilize much easier as you add coral and things of that nature. And you know, this takes a long time, but it'll stabilize and it'll just become second nature to you. But you have to go through it and just put yourself in a situation that is going to allow you to learn. If you're going in blindly, this is one hobby that you will regret doing that. But yeah, guys, I honestly want to apologize to whoever I may have misled, or if I came off the wrong way with the information I was giving. That's definitely not what I wanted. You know, I love this hobby dearly, and the last thing I want to do is to misguide people. I already know this hobby is pretty difficult as it is, and it does require you to do your due diligence in order to be successful in it. So, you know, I apologize to those of you who I may have, you know, threw you off. But this video is for you guys, just to let you know that if you come into the hobby, be consistent, keep those phosphates and nitrates low, and keep them low for a long time, and they will pay you back. But remember, keeping them at zero is just as bad as keeping them high. You know, if you bottom out your nitrates and your phosphates, it's needed in your tank. But in order for you to sustain the life of this beautiful coralline algae to grow and avoid at the maximum potential for nuisance algae like green hair algae to grow, you got to keep them in those stable levels. Because when you keep them at those stable low levels of nitrates and phosphates, that's where this coralline algae thrives, and it grows much faster than the other nuisance algae. The other nuisance algae, they thrive with the higher nutrients. But the tricky part about it is that if you allow your nutrients to get high and those nuisance algae grow in, even if you drop your parameters back down, once that nuisance algae gets in your tank, you will have to do 10 times the work to get it out. So try to avoid it from the beginning by doing your work early and being consistent, than to have to work 3 times as hard when you have to get it out of your system. You know, I want to work my system to get back down to those lower numbers, because it impacts a lot of different things. It's not just about, nuisance algae. It also impacts your coral growth and a lot of other stuff. So stay on top of your work. Sorry to those of you that I may have misguided. I hope this video serves you better. And if you guys have any questions, as usual, don't hesitate to write to me in the comments. Give me a nice little thumbs up there. We could talk about it. And today is actually Thursday. I wanted to mention this. Tomorrow's Friday. Reefer Palooza, New York City is this Saturday coming up. So if you guys are from the city, anybody that's watching this video, which I doubt, I don't have that many people subscribed to my channel, but if you guys see me, I'm gonna be wearing a social_reefer shirt. It's gonna have my Instagram tag on the back of my shirt. If you guys see me, don't hesitate to say hi. It's all love at the end of the day. And I hope to see you guys soon. Until my next video, peace out, guys. Take care.